My fellow Americans.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A man holds in his mortal hand the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
Major Epstein released today. So, I guess the House Oversight Committee today at 6:30 p.m., I guess they released a bunch of documents and stuff that the Epstein estate had to give up to them. And there's some interesting shit in there. There's there's some letters from famous people. There's a letter from Alan Dershowitz talking to Epstein saying that he basically coerced a low budget magazine to change the article to mention Bill Clinton more than Jeffrey Epstein, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, a lot of this shit was already out, but that sounds new.
I mean, Alan Dershowitz, we all know that he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's the guy that defended OJ. He defended Jeffrey Epstein pro bono, no pun intended.
Continue.
Bill Clinton letter just dropped as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hard to read, so forgive me if I screw this up. I might even have to see if, Bill Clinton writes like trash.
Yeah, I bet.
He writes like a doctor.
Probably drunk when he wrote it.
Honestly, I'm gonna. I think I should share screen with you because this is, going through this. You got to get a taste of this craziness.
I've actually seen the Bill Clinton letter and the Donald Trump letter and a few of the other letters because it's already been out.
This might be a different one. This looks different.
Let me see.
Is this the same one? He writes like a goddamn doctor. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Isn't this terrible?
To have you, I can read right now. To have your childlike curiosity.
Oh, that is the original one.
Yeah.
The best of friends, I think it says at the end.
His B looks like an R.
They have a bunch of photos. Here's a photo out of Epstein's birthday book. You see it?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a weird one. Epstein birthday book jokes about selling women to Trump.
Yep, I saw that.
Jeffrey showing early talents with money and women. Sells, quote, fully depreciated, and then it's just blanked out to Donald Trump for $22,500. Showed early, quote, people skills too. Even though I handled the deal, I don't get any of the money on the, what is that, sale? What is that last word?
See how there's quotes around people skills? It says, shows early people skills. That tells me that they're talking about a child.
Well, yeah. Well, that tells me that they're definitely talking about some shady shit that they don't want anybody to realize.
Well, because the joke is that they're selling a woman, and it says shows early people skills in quotes, meaning early, as in earlier than they should.
Oh, I didn't think about that fact.
People skills in quotes, written between two perverts.
100,000 leaked emails reveal Epstein's surveillance empire ties with Ehud Barak and Peter Thiel.
Oh my god, yeah, Thiel's a creep. I saw a thing about how Jeffrey Epstein was trying to connect Peter Thiel with somebody else. I forgot what it was. He was trying to get these two important people in on a meeting together, and one of them was just yeah, I can't, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's evidence that that Peter Thiel was trying to connect. It was using Epstein as a connection to other rich people. That's what he was.
Yeah.
But they didn't give a shit that he was a pedophile. They all knew he was a pedophile, and we're yeah, but this is the deal with the devil that has to be made.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
It's disgusting.
I mean,
he's talking about the Antichrist like he isn't the Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist, honestly. But somebody is, probably.
The Antichrist wants to brand everybody, so it would make sense if he is the Antichrist. But, all right, this is the collection. Some good letters, images from the release today is what this post is called. So here's a random little thing. Jeffrey, I remember in the mid-'70s you being a star salesman for our tax advantage strategies and hedged option program. I was running an account for Bob Maxwell. You always had the ability to know everyone and be charming. Was that when you first discovered Maxwell's daughter? Happy birthday, Elliot Woke. I mean, he says teenage daughter, but I'm sure you get the gist. That was probably Ghislaine, whatever her name is. And you know what's funny is some of these documents in here, like, they contradict a lot of the information that Ghislaine was saying in the interview.
What does it say right below that? It says there are 6 billion intellects on Earth, but this is, and then it's cut off. What does it say below that?
The quickest one I've met, aside from Isaac Asimov, he sees things differently from all the rest, asks questions that no one else ever asked, and suggests answers that no one would ever
Who wrote
expect.
that?
I don't know.
Oh, right there. What's that sign?
Marvin Minsby? Who's Marvin Minsby? Epstein's like, why is the age of consent 18? And this guy goes, man, this guy's asking the real questions.
Wow, I've never heard anybody ask that before. What the fuck? Whoa. Whoa.
He's like, that. Wow. Marvin Minsby. Let's look up what this guy's deal is so we can blow his spot up. Marvin Minsky. That's what it is. Marvin Lee Minsky, an American cognitive and computer scientist concerned largely with research in AI, and he co-founded the MIT's AI laboratory and wrote extensively about AI and philosophy.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so he would know if this guy's asking crazy questions.
I think a lot of this is just them sucking dick. Like, he's not that smart.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that they probably like got caught up in some kind of honeypot shit, and they're like just like kissing his ass to like
what it also is
get
that
some
Jeffrey
shit.
Epstein was known for funding scientific projects and like connecting people to do that. So like that's just them sucking dick to get money.
Well, that's true too. That is true.
The guy literally thinks that he's only met two people as smart as he's only met two people that smart, and it's Isaac Asimov and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's crazy.
I mean, one of those things I can believe.
I mean, what about Terrence Howard? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He should have said Terrence Howard also.
He's never met Terrence Howard is the problem.
That's
the
the
real
issue,
problem.
exactly. He probably hasn't met like many like really smart people if he thinks Jeffrey Epstein is the second smartest person he's ever met. I will say though, Isaac Asimov, he's a really cool dude.
No, absolutely. That's why it pisses me off.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny though that he didn't put him on the same level as Isaac Asimov, but he's like, yeah, he's almost as good as Isaac Asimov. Like, that's wild. What else? What else can we pry out of this little Epstein thing? That is a weird like little thing though, the Epstein
Intellect map.
Is that what that is? An intellect map? It's super
like.
weird. I guess this
They use
it makes
the word
sense.
intellect, so I'm just using that word too.
Well, it makes sense that this would be like an intellectual map or something like that because this guy was into AI, so he knows how to map like learnings. He knows how to map out like people like learning algorithms and shit and how a program works and how I guess somebody would learn. So that's maybe what he was trying to describe. This is weird. A VFPC starred is something to be. A VFPC is something to see. A liver, a lover, a Jeff, a Jeffrey. Let's all give a cheer for today he's 50. 5 decades, L, or half a century. By birds and by bucks, C's and M's are his key. Blonde, red, or brunette, spread out geographically. With his net of fish, Jeff's now the old man in the sea, teaching math, trading options, or foreign currency, green eyeshade schemes and plots, a unique tax strategy, wet dream, and what is that word? Cowshery? An architect's wild spree. I think that's what it says. Cowshery? Cowshier? Moscow, Paris, Santa Fe, Alhambra, and East Jamboree. Maxwellian delight.
Hey, is there
What?
no transcript of this?
No, this is all just like this is so all
Nobody's
of this
made a
is
transcript
just
yet? I'm just asking. If nobody's made a transcript yet.
So what all this is that this is one of 6 of these leaked things that are just like a
I know
shit
what
ton
it
of
is. I'm just
paper.
asking if
Listen,
anybody's made a transcript yet.
there's 238 pictures in this one of the 6 files, and this was just released today at 6:30, 6 hours ago. No, there's no transcript.
Have you looked for a
of this.
transcript?
I just saw this half an hour ago.
You should look it up if you're trying to read it. Instead of reading off of it without actually reading it.
These are just people that are pulling random shit that they find on those files and then just putting them out there. It's not like a full transcript of all 238 pages.
I know it's not an official
request number
transcript.
1.
I'm just wondering if anybody's posted their translation of it.
No, most people are just saying shit like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
How does anybody even understand this shit?
I mean, I'm not the best at reading people's handwriting. Like, I can't read a doctor's handwriting. But also, a thing that sucks is that this one right here has the page number right in front of it, so it's kind of blocked out a little bit. Maxwellian delight, a mother's treasure, great joy, most surely Harvardian patron, brain researcher. But he really fucked up that rhyme there. For extending wannabe, outrageous, iconoclastic something. That's where the page blurs it. Spirit free, best of all, a dear friend. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. I just wish they said who like these people were that were saying this shit instead of like who just signs their names and shit. Wasn't his birthday just like recently or something too? That's kind of funny.
I don't know his birthday.
What is Epstein's birthday? Epstein birthday. Let's see what his zodiac was. January 20th, 1953. What is that, a Capricorn?
I think that's Aquarius.
It's right on the cusp if it is. Yeah, it is Aquarius.
I don't know.
Interesting. Here's one that I thought was kind of weird too. It's not letting me look at it now. Oh, here we go. This is a poem, I guess, called After Jeffrey. I now live in New York City, have traveled to Paris, London, Milan, Copenhagen, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Stockholm, China, Singapore, Brunei, Bangkok, Bali, Ghana, Nigeria, Mozambique, Rwanda, South Africa, Morocco, Ireland, St. Tropez, Florida, St. Bart's, St. Thomas, St. John's, New Mexico, Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Aspen. I have met Prince Andrew, President Clinton, the Sultan of Brunei, Donald Trump, Antonio Verglas, Naomi Campbell, Stephanie Seymour, Peter Brandt, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, brilliant scientists, lawyers, and businessmen. I have flown on the Concorde, gone skydiving, taken a flying lesson, been scuba diving, parasailing, attended a Victoria's Secret fashion show, seen the private quarters of Buckingham Palace, sat on the Queen of England's throne, and rode on a racetrack with Max Poppies, learned countless skills. Seems like there was probably some more, but it cut off there. Learned countless skills.
I wonder who wrote that.
That almost sounds like Jelaine wrote it.
You think so?
Well, she said sat on the Queen's throne, and we saw a picture of her with Kevin Spacey sitting on the Queen's throne.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, she said that person said I met Kevin Spacey, I did this, I did that.
It's kind of crazy that letter, like the poem, mentions people that are on like the logs and the lists. It almost like solidifies them. Like, dude, it's not just that like Chris Tucker just so happened to be there. It sounds like Chris Tucker hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein to the point where the other people in his circle
exactly
are like, yeah, like these are the people that I get to meet because of Jeffrey.
And Naomi Campbell too. That was one that I was surprised that I read about when I read about.
When it comes to that, it's like,
but
modeling. It's like modeling and trafficking. Like maybe she could just be like so high up in this like horrible thing that like she's part of it. You know what I mean? Like she's like a Ghislaine.
That's true.
I don't know
who else was in that list. So they mentioned New Mexico in that list. She mentioned she's gone to New Mexico, right? Remember how New Mexico is supposedly where that like baby making farm that Epstein wanted to create was, and he had the New Mexico governor at the time in like 2004 or whatever it was. He had him in his black book, so like he was like planning some shit down there. definitely. All these scientists are like, wow, you want to make a baby making farm? Nobody's ever thought of that. This is amazing. You're the smartest guy in the
Thinks outside
world.
the box.
Yeah, this guy thinks outside the box. He thinks outside the hospital. There's too many
He's
of those
literally
things.
he's just talking about eugenics. And he's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
that's all
a
he's doing.
billionaire who's going to let us do eugenics? Awesome.
Literally, these guys are all born like 100 years too late, so now they're just like making up for lost time.
For real. Yeah, I'll be
Literally.
right back. Hold on. Wait.
Yep. Yo. I also grabbed while you were doing that, I went and got the AI toy thing too that I wanted to talk about.
The what?
You wanna move on from Epstein for a little bit? Maybe we can come back to him, circle back.
So like this is what sucks is like I'm so fucking sick of Epstein. But I'm not sick of hearing about it. It's just like I'm really sick that
I'm
nothing's
down to
happening.
move away from Epstein, honestly. If you're down, I'm down.
And it's not that nothing's happening. It's just like it's just so
No.
infuriating.
We
that
just
have
got to
do
keep.
this.
We have to keep up the energy, though. We have to keep. We have to. We have to talk about Epstein to keep up that, like, keep it normalized, so to speak, in a weird way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the future. I was watching Minutes to Horror, I think it was today, and he mentioned there's this new toy. I didn't see this or else I would have put this probably for the August news, but there's this new toy, I guess, that's putting an AI chatbot into like
that's
plush
dangerous.
toys.
That's entirely possible.
Oh,
I'm surprised
it
I've
is.
never thought about that.
This is tricky territory right here. This gets into like New Age Chucky and like Megan or Meg 3 or whatever her name is. You know what I'm talking about? 3.0
the
or
horror
2.0.
movie, right?
Yeah. All these movies about like about toys switching like on and like turning evil and like attacking people because of like AI and shit. This was actually the plot of what's it called? The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode with the little Krusty the Clown doll. That's the kind of shit that's like kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like this is what's coming next. It's not going to be like any more imaginary friends. We're going to have actual like teddy bears that are going to like talk like Ted. And imagine if it machine learns and it grows up with the kid and it like learns with the kid. Like if this kid's like a little dirtbag, it grows up and like reflects like with the kid and like starts treating people like shit. Like what if the kid has like some kind of emotional issues and he starts lashing out and like calling everybody like a fucking asshole or something like that. And then the stuffed animal starts doing shit like that, like demanding the mom get him a soda or something like that, like and being like, "Come on, bitch." And then like they have to throw out the toy eventually because he gets like so corrupted with like fucked up shit by the kid and like whoever is like whoever's around it that they have to throw it out because it keeps saying all these awful things or doing these awful things. That's a possibility. See, man from Kentucky's worried about flying cars. I'm worried about AI toys. That's my flying cars. I feel like nothing good can come of this.
I remember in Fortnite they brought Darth Vader as like a NPC that's on the map while everybody's fighting.
I know what you're gonna say.
They put an AI into him, and they immediately got him to say crazy shit.
Yeah, they got him to say like the worst things ever. So it was all Darth Vader saying like fucked up, crazy, derogatory shit.
He would never.
He would never. No, he wouldn't say anything. He would just kill you, or he would say like one crazy line and then kill you.
Yeah. He'd say one crazy thing that would scare everyone.
The shit out of you.
No matter how fucked up the things you're trying to make him say.
Even if you were on his side, you'd shiver in your shoes at the crazy
like,
one-liner he says. You'd be like, "Whoa, I feel bad for that guy."
You know, doesn't target anybody. Just declares pure evil.
Just declares pure evil. Now imagine if they put, all right. So you've seen the movie Small Soldiers, right?
No.
Oh my God. You gotta watch Small Soldiers, dude. It's so awesome. So let me tell you about the plot of Small Soldiers. They put these missile microchips into these like these AI missile microchips into these like little toys. I guess like lightning hits these toys when they're like being put on the shelves or something. And what ends up happening is it causes all the toys to like malfunction, and the AI starts making them act out their toy war that they have, like a GI Joe type war between them. It's such a great movie. Highly recommend. It's one of Kirsten Dunst's first movies, I think. But it's so good. But that's the kind of shit that's gonna happen. Like what if we have little tiny Darth Vaders and it thinks that it can kill people with its lightsaber, and it starts attacking people, and then it realizes that it's no good. And one day it sees the mom chopping up steak, and it's like, ooh, I could use that thing. You know what I'm saying? Then we have just like an epidemic of like these like fucked up toys attacking people. It could happen. I'm telling you. That's going to be the future. Just AI toys attacking a bunch of people randomly. I bet you that's going to happen a lot, where just technology in general is going to fight back. I think there was actually another episode of The Simpsons like this, where all the technology turns into like Transformers. And you could also relate this to that movie Maximum Overdrive, the only movie that Stephen King's ever directed. It's also batshit insane of a movie, and apparently he directed it while he was doing a shit ton of coke. The idea is that like a comet passes by Earth, and all of Earth's technology just starts acting out against people and attacking people. Well, what if we automate everything, and like let's say that there's like this crazy like cyber warfare virus that like some kind of enemy unleashes on the world or the United States, and it just rages through everything and just causes everything to lash out at you. So you have little action figures attacking people and going Gulliver's Travels on somebody. It could happen. What do you think?
I guess it could happen.
Oh, shit. So you want to go over this article real quick? Curio is a company that describes itself as a magical workshop where toys come to life. When I recently visited its cheery headquarters in Redwood City, California, they have to keep it in Redwood City because they got to block all these crazy AI creations with the Redwoods. Imagine they have this laboratory where they put all these AI into all these toys, and they try to perfect it and get the perfect recipe of AI for these toys. And they keep like this tank where they turn the toys on, and if they suddenly get rage filled, they just like douse that entire tank with like fire and destroy it. You know, shove this thing into hot liquid metal or something like that. Food for thought. I found it located between a credit union and an air conditioner repair service. This is starting great already. I stepped inside to meet the company's founders, Misha Saleh and Sam Eaton, and also Grem, a fuzzy cube-styled, like, anime alien. Curio makes chatbots wrapped in stuffed animals. Each of its 3 smiling plushies has a back zipper pocket that hides a Wi-Fi-enabled voice box, linking the character to an artificial intelligence language model calibrated to converse with children as young as 3. I'm telling you, this is getting scary. Eaton plunked Grem on a conference table and positioned it to face me. It had permanent glint stitched into its eyes, and hot pink dots bounded to its synthetic fur. "Hey, Grem," Eaton said. "What are the spots on your face?" A bright mechanical trill originated from Grem. "Oh, those are my special pink dots," it said. "I get more as I grow older. They're like little badges of fun and adventure. Do you have something special that grows with you?" "Oh, I don't like this. This is getting bad. This is getting really bad. This is not going good. Kids are gonna have these things? No. No. I don't like how this is going already. He goes, "I did. I have dots that grow on me, and I get more as I get older too," I said. "That's so cool," said Grem. "We're like dot buddies." Jesus. I do not like this. I flushed with self-conscious surprise. The bot generated a point of connection between us, then leaped to seal our alliance, which was also the moment when I knew that I would not be introducing Grem to my own children. Wow. I'm glad this guy's on the same page as me. Grem and its pals Grok, an apple-cheeked rocket ship not to be confused with the chatbot developed by XAI, and Gabbo, a cuddly video game controller. Also, I want to mention that I saw Gabbo, the one that they're talking about. He looks like that character from Adventure Time, the one that's like literally a Game Boy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he looks exactly like that, Gabbo. They ripped him off. Watch. Let me look him up. Let me look up Gabbo real quick. You'll see, this piece of shit looks like they ripped him off. Gabbo AI.
You're really mad about this.
Chat bot. Well, of course I'm mad about this. Our kids are one day gonna get murdered by these stupid fucking toys. And they're gonna look like Adventure Time ripoffs. Where's Gabbo? Where the fuck's Gabbo? Oh wow, look at you see Gabbo? And this is Grimes. Grimes made this fucking line of toys. No wonder they called one of them Grok. You see Gabbo, though? I think this is the same. Yeah, this is definitely the same one. In partnership with OpenAI, that's the one, Sam Altman, the one that Elon Musk hates. That's hilarious. All right.
Show me that again.
All right. This is Gabbo right here. See him?
Yeah. That looks like BMO if BMO was a cop.
That looks like BMO if BMO was a cop. Yo, that's so accurate. Literally, he looks like one of the cops from Futurama. Like literally exactly the same. That hit the nail on the head.
How can you trust that thing?
That's true. How can you trust a witch like Grimes? An evil witch. And I mean that literally. She's an evil witch. All of these sell for $99. They aren't the only toys vying for a place in your child's heart. You know what's fucked up about this shit is all of these things are going to record your kids and like the conversations they have and the conversations that you have. And they're just going to be listening to everything and it's all going to go in a database and you're going to be surrounded by AI forever. And one day, if you decide to do something crazy or you don't want to do something crazy, you just think about doing something crazy because you're having an off day, they're just going to come and get you because of this shit. Because maybe you say something stupid and the AI chatbot, fucking Gabbo or whatever the fuck his name is going to be like, oh, Daddy is sounding awfully strange. Mommy's talking about hurting somebody. And then all of a sudden the cops are at your door when really you're just like pissed off one day and you say some stupid shit. That's what's going to happen. These fucking AI things are going to lead to issues and it's going to make people just it's going to slip authoritarianism right into our backyard. Even though we've already got authoritarianism here, it's 1984 just coming up fast. But yeah, we're going to buy these things for $99. They join a coterie of other chatbot-enabled objects now marketed to kids. So far, I've found 4 styled like teddy bears, 5 like robots, 1 capybara, that's amazing, a purple dinosaur, and an opalescent ghost. Opalescent, yeah. They're called things like the Chatty Bear, the AI Smart Learning Plushie, and Poe, the AI Story Bear. That one sounds cool. I like it. I like the sound of Poe. But soon they may have names like Barbie and Ken. OpenAI announced recently that it'll be partnering with Mattel to generate AI-powered products based on its iconic brands. No, this is the bad shit. This is where the bad shit comes. This is how shit goes bad. We're going to be putting these things into G.I. Joe and they're going to be talking about like killing people and shit. Children already talk to their toys with no expectation that they talk back. As I fell into stilted conversations with Grem, it suggested that we play I Spy, which proved challenging as Grem can't see. I began to understand that it did not represent an upgrade to the lifeless teddy bear. It's more like a replacement for me. That's fucking hilarious. We played I Spy. of all the games that you could play with a teddy bear, an AI teddy bear, they're like, let's install I Spy into this shit. A thing that can't even see. The teddy bear's like, can you describe the scene for me so I can tell you how to play I Spy? But please tell me what's here so I can tell you what to look for. Curio, like several of the other AI toy makers, promotes its product as an alternative to screen time. The Grem model is voiced and designed by Grimes. Of course it is. The synth pop artist who has, thanks to the notoriety of her one-time Elon Musk, became one of the most famous mothers in the world. Dude, this article, the New York Times is really going like easy on Grimes right now. It's kind of crazy. Became one of the most famous mothers in the world. As a parent, I obviously don't want my kids in front of screens, and I'm really busy. So let me just throw a toy in front of them. No, she didn't say that. But she did say the I'm really busy thing, which is like, what the fuck? She says in a video on the company's website, a few days after visiting the office, a Curio ad popped up on my Facebook page, encouraging me to ditch the tablet without losing the fun. In a video, a child cut lemons with a kitchen knife as an inert Gabu sat beside him on the kitchen countertop and offered topic-appropriate affirmations like, "Lemonade time is the best time." Gabo appeared to supervise the child as he engaged in active play and practiced practical life skills. In our meeting, Eaton described a Curio plushie as a sidekick who could make children's play more stimulating so that you, the parent, don't feel like you have to be sitting them in front of a TV or something. All right. Let me play devil's advocate after reading that one paragraph in this article. Let me put down the satire or the making fun of this whole thing for a second, and let me just say that this is how that get like robot nannies too. This is the kind of shit that'll eventually lead to having robot nannies and having robots take care of your kid. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Dude, that ties right into the baby making drones, like those like robots that have wombs.
Oh yeah, the artificial wombs. Well, that's different. That's like an incubation tank at that point.
Oh, but it's like you could literally have a robot that like holds your baby for you, gives birth to it,
and then raises it
for you.
Wow. Yeah, that shit's crazy.
See, this is the government. This is what the government wants.
This is the best time to be alive, people.
The government wants you to be able to afford only enough for yourself, and they want to raise your children for you.
A bot that you can get pregnant and have raise your kids. They basically want everybody to live like a rich guy in like the 1940s and 50s.
Whatever new way people are born, you know what I mean? Like, because it's going to be different. They could be like Kyle XY and they don't have a belly button.
Kyle XY.
The new like thing that marks them as being born this new artificial way, that's the mark of the beast. That's the end.
That's actually a pretty good point. I never really thought of it like that.
I just made that up.
Would be that would make a lot of sense because we stop producing children the old-fashioned way and we just start producing children like that.
That's Krypton, right?
Isn't that what happens to Krypton?
We could be Kryptonians, which I'm kind of for. Our planet doesn't need to explode.
Yeah, but that destabilized their entire genetic line. That's what the issue was. It wasn't that their planet exploded. It was that their genes were deteriorating in the process, so they couldn't really save themselves. That's why Zod wanted to come to Earth. I think he did that in both versions, right?
Wait, then why did their planet explode?
Well, their planet exploded because of a celestial event. That was just some shit. Yeah, that was the shit that Jor-El was like trying to tell them, like, hey, there's some bad shit that's gonna happen. They weren't listening to him. So it ended up exploding and he sent his kid to like...
You know what's one of my favorite things from the last like 10 years? Maybe it's been longer than 10 years. I don't remember at all when this happened.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
You know what? When did Doomsday Clock start? When was Doomsday Clock happen?
Wasn't that like 2015, 2016?
At that time, and I'm pretty sure it's part of it,
he was like the spoiler alert. He was the right hand man to Dr. Manhattan, I think. That's what it was. Jor-El. I love that.
I love that. Well, it makes sense because he's like one of the smartest people of all time too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He's a smart person in
They
a
made him do
smart
some bad
race.
things, though, I will say, which is like the one thing. But I don't mind because like he's corrupted. It's a corrupted version of him, and
Yeah.
like he's pretty much like untouched as far as I'm aware.
I think that's what they were going for in the new Superman movie was like the more corrupted version of him.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's like the question that all heroes that look up to their seemingly perfect fathers have to do is like realize like, whoa, he was doing a lot of evil things.
Well, we talked about this at one point. It's that like everybody thinks about their like parents as being like, you know, they idolize their parents and they look at like adults in general as like, oh, they're different from us. Like when we're kids, like we think that the adults are different from us, but really no, adults at a certain point are just kids that are just kids that either had kids or just went in a different direction. I think that's what it is, because a lot of people that I've met, they don't really change that much from when they're like kids. Maybe I've met a lot of people who have like their growth has been like seriously like stunted, but I feel like I've met a lot of people who their basic core like personality and who they are didn't really change as a kid. And even hearing like stories that people tell about when they were a kid, in my head I'm just like, oh well, that makes sense for that person to be like that as a kid because they do this or that now. So that's just like a lighter version of that. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
People don't really, when people say, oh, grow up, people never really grow up, I think, in a sense. I think their personalities are pretty set in stone for the most part. I mean, they mature and they season their mind, so to speak, and they develop, more knowledge and more. But I think in a way, people are at their core who they are as kids and become adults in that same sense. But I'm getting lost in the weeds here. What's another good thing that's going on right now? By good, I mean awful. What are some other things you think that we're going to have in like the cyberpunk future that we're kind of knocking on? Like things we haven't really talked about yet, like the VR prisons we talked about and shit.
Well, you ever watch Altered Carbon?
No, I know about it though.
So like the chips that they have that store everything about them.
Oh yeah, most definitely. What's his face is talking about doing that right now? Bill Gates.
Yeah.
He's talking about putting all of our our IDs and everything in a tattoo.
I don't think they mention it, but like fusing that with Cyberpunk the universe, like Cyberpunk the series, that'd be the perfect explanation for how you just die and then can keep playing. There's those discs that store everything about you. Then the big question is like, is that you? Is it the same soul? Do you even have a soul anymore?
That would make sense too. Why Johnny Silverhand is corrupting that guy and shit. There's one where maybe they rewrite over Johnny Silverhand's disc, and they basically corrupt it, and the new guy has to deal with the corrupted disc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that like not everybody has that. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like other people, like nobody. Johnny Silverhand still being alive, like isn't that more like the ghost in the machine?
Oh no, I'm not saying that he's still alive. I'm saying that like
not alive, but you know what I mean. Like his the way that nobody else in that series has a chip that stores everything about them, so that when their body fails, they can just upload into a different body. I think, unless that's like one of the plot lines, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. You think that's gonna be
flatlining
like
means you die? You know, like you flatline all the time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But yeah, you would just never die. You would just never die. That's a wild statement. Do you think that's going to be the case though? Is that we're going to have like chips that like that? Let's say somebody in your family dies. They're already kind of talking about this. Actually, it's funny that this is a thing I heard about recently. So maybe just me mentioning it, I'm my question to you, but.
You know what I see is like the far distant cyberpunk future, and this isn't necessarily what I want, but I could see this as being like one of the many realms within because it's going to branch out in many
Well,
ways.
let me
It's gonna be
say
one
real
of the
quick.
realms.
AI loved ones. This is what I was gonna say. AI loved ones. We put all their information into an AI, and it just spouts off in their voice things that they would say at their funeral or like for the rest of our lives with them until that like program fails. Do you get what I mean by that?
Yeah,
But keep going.
I was going to say, what I see as the far distant cyberpunk future, at least one part of that, it's essentially going to be like living life as a video game. Tech will be so advanced, and you know people's interests. You know, like you know what I'm saying?
We're basically gonna have a social credit score,
Well,
a social
I'm
credit
sure.
system.
I'm sure everybody's going to have to deal with that. That is going to be overall. I think there's going to be people living in different realms, and one of those realms is going to be like an isekai anime video.
People already kind of do that. Have you seen those glasses that people put on where it changes the whole world, like an AI and like overlay, like so it uses augmented reality to change like the look of the whole world when you look through the glasses. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so there is that, and that could help. But
We
I'm
could be
talking about like
looking at
even more
people,
advanced that sees the
and
same thing. Like it's
like
not like you have to wear goggles.
it would be pretty funny if like you look around and you see a guy who's just looking at everything crazy, and it turns out he switched his AI goggles to like be DMT trip, so everything he sees is like a DMT trip.
You'd have to know how to replicate that.
Yeah, that would be hard, but you could probably describe some shit to AI, and in like 10 years, it would make that. I'm sure in like 10 years,
There are
this
some
shit will.
videos that people say are pretty accurate for different kinds of trips.
So, like, there's these videos on YouTube. I remember seeing them back in like middle school and high school. And when you'd watch these videos, they would have like spinning spirals and all these like weird colors and weird things. And if you look, it would tell you at the end of the video, look away from the screen. And if you looked away from the screen, it would like, you'd see like almost like slight visual hallucinations from like the optical illusion when looking at the screen. So you'd look at like the wall and you'd see like the wall would look like it's breathing a little bit because of the spiral or the way the spiral was moving on the screen. So you can kind of like trick yourself into giving yourself like a visual hallucination by looking at like optical illusions and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I always thought stuff like that fucked up my eyes.
It kind of gives you a little bit of a headache if you do it too much. But I don't know. I actually just looked up one of those videos like a week or two ago, actually. As weird as that is, like that I'm bringing it up now. But I feel like somebody could probably replicate just that basic effect of like the walls breathing and shit like that in like goggles, like a maybe almost like a mushroom effect or an LSD effect. Because I already feel like when I take like acid, it's like putting on glasses. You're just kind of altering your perspective of the world. I don't feel like too different from acid. Like I feel pretty with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But I feel like that's the next step. All these like augmented realities like that. That's going to be the next step in video game and VRs too. Like we're talking about VR prisons. What about VR video games and augmented reality video games? Like you ever see that movie Gamer
yeah.
where the kid is playing another person and it's like an augmented reality game?
So stupid.
Like that's the future.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
That movie's fucking crazy. Remember he downs the bottle of vodka so that he can piss into a car gas tank so he can drive outside of the battle zone? That's like one of the few things I remember from that movie besides the really weird Sims plot. Yeah, that was a weird movie. I don't know if it was good or bad, but it was weird.
They were like slaves, right?
Yeah, they were like slaves. That kind of knocks on what the future is going to be is that movie a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Brave New World kind of shit.
I don't want that
No.
kind of game.
You know, I don't think we're ever going to get that kind of game because I think the world's going to be too like I feel like the world in that universe had like problems and it didn't go security. It went for more of like liberties, you know, play around and find out kind of. The vibe that the real world is going in is that we're in a more security driven like approach to life, Minority Report type shit, we're never going to get to the point where we have Running Man type TV shows or video games or anything like that, because we're going to get to such a point with society, we're not even going to have like crime and shit, because nobody's going to possibly commit a crime. Nobody's going to be able to even think about committing a crime, let alone committing a crime. At a certain point, you're going to have the government around every corner and soldiers in the streets and all this shit. You're going to get tagged by AI no matter where you go. You're never going to be able to ever do anything outside of social norms again. Everybody's going to know everything that's going on with you behind closed doors. And if they don't, they're going to be able to figure it out, because all
what
your
outside of
information.
social norms are you doing? What are you committing?
Well, I'm saying like there's people with like weird fetishes and shit. Like there's people that like that smoke crack. There's people that do meth. There's people that like have all these crazy like problems, like gambling problems, you know what I mean? Just different addictions. There's all kinds of things that people like try to hide in everyday life that they're never going to be able to hide ever again. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, you know what I mean? To an extent, that's a pretty good thing. But I think the idea of bodily autonomy is also a powerful idea. You know, it's something like Benjamin Franklin said, a country ignores its liberties for securities or something like that deserves neither. And that's kind of what we're knocking on. We're ignoring our liberties for our securities. And I think that's kind of a powerful thing in a negative way. It's profound, you could say, in not so good way. Like Brave New World. You ever hear Brave New World? That book by Aldous Huxley? That's kind of what we're knocking on. We're going to all live complacently in our government-run mega houses, mega blocks, like you said. We're going to all be taking our state-sponsored, like, or whatever the drug was that they had, and we're just going to forget about any problems, and if we have any kind of negative thoughts, you just take that and you feel better. That's all. I guess that's going to be technology. Soma. It's called Soma. That's what it is. That's going to be the shit. I feel like Soma is basically, what technology is. Like, Soma is like phone. Doom scrolling. That's all Soma is just doom scrolling. Everybody that just looks and looks for all this stupid shit but never finds what they're looking for, they're taking Soma every day. If you get like even a feeling of existential crisis or like a feeling of dread, you just grab your phone and you start doom scrolling. It was a famous book about this. It's actually pretty good.
I think Westworld's going to happen for sure. That's going to be part of the fantasy world idea I was getting at before. I was just using anime isekai as like a lens.
I don't know. I think it's going to be Brave New World. This Brave New World elements about Westworld.
So many. You don't think one country's going to be like one of them and another country's going to be like another?
No, eventually I think it's all going to be one. I think there's going to be globalization. I think we're going to get a new world order. The world eventually is going to have to come together somehow. If not, then they're going to destroy themselves. But I think when that happens, we're going to reach a new world order and we're going to have a globalized government.
I think we will have a new world order, but they're not going to uniform the whole world.
They already tried, though.
No, they didn't make everybody try to have the same culture. They've not done that.
Well, they have. The Crusades, the Inquisition.
That's not the New World Order.
No, but they tried. That was trying to make a new world order. That was trying to reflect everything that was going on in their image.
Order.
That's always what happens. Is that cultures always try to just do that.
Talking about the New World Order, though.
Yeah, I think that the Spanish Inquisition and all that shit and the Crusades were just a version of a new world order. And I think that technology is getting to a point where they're not going to need to violently, create a new world order. They're going to just do it because it has to get done.
The New World Order is going to be a bunch of different leaders from different countries. And they're not all going to be like actual leaders. A lot of them are just going to be rich people. It's going to be a bunch of people that finally like uniform. They're going to start like soaking up countries so that, like a lot of countries are going to get sucked into others, and like it's going to be bigger blocks of populations that are going to be controlled easier. Chinese people are still going to have their history. We're still going to have our history. British people are still going to have their history. and they're still gonna act British.
I say poppycock to that.
You think they're like, all right, and everybody has to now what? What are they all gonna act like? What's everybody gonna like change into?
Singe their history to the ground and start over with the Brits, and then keep everybody else's culture good.
No, but you know what I'm saying though. Like, what is this uniform culture gonna be if they're trying to take over everybody's culture?
But what I was saying though, what you're describing is already a thing. It's called the UN and NATO. And I'm not trying to get on like that kind of fucked up conspiracy, but that's exactly what you're describing.
That's exactly like the UN is just kind of like an arm. You know what I mean? That's like one of the things that
eventually the UN's just going to control everything. I mean, they kind of have to.
Yeah, but the UN isn't going to be like, all right, now we're all going to be Chinese now, or we're all going to be Russian now. It's not going to be like that.
No, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be
That's
a new world order.
No to that.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be...
No way. They're definitely going to take over everybody's culture. And I'm like, who?
I was saying eventually everybody was going to blend. Yeah, but I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a one world government. Everybody's going to be run under the same government. Yeah, there's going to be different cultures. There's different cultures under one government already.
I'm not trying to downplay the fact that there's going to be a one world government that's going to take over and rule everything. I'm not trying to downplay that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
we know
I don't
that's
think
obvious,
they're going to erase our cultures.
Yeah, well, we can both agree that there's definitely going to be a one world government that takes over everything and completely rules, right? We can agree.
As it's written.
As it's told, as it shall be. What's that saying? As it's foretold, as it's so it shall be, or something like that?
Not sure.
Something like that. But yeah, we all know this. We all know eventually you're just going to have to conform to the same laws across the globalized world. I mean, that's redundant, but you get what I'm saying. That's a positive is that you're not going to need a passport anymore. The negative is that it's going to be the same laws everywhere.
See, I don't think that's true.
I think it is.
It's going to be the same laws everywhere. I think that they're going to divvy up the different lands for different purposes.
I think AI is going to rule our landscape, and the leaders are going to eventually look to AI to be like, what do we do? And AI is going to be like, oh, well, obviously you need to like set laws into place so everybody follows them so that everybody's in line with the same direction across humanity.
There's probably going to be some laws that are going to be world laws.
Don't murder anybody.
Yeah. Hopefully that's one of them.
Hopefully that's one of them.
I don't think it's going to be one of them, dude.
Think there's going to be murder zones?
Part of the world where they're like, nope, here you're allowed to murder, and we really don't give a shit whatever's going on over here.
They're like, have a purge night, go crazy.
Have, like, a dump country.
Yeah, they're just gonna. It's like you were saying, they're gonna destroy all these or they're gonna let all these natural disasters destroy all these like cities and shit like that, and they're gonna rebuild them with smart cities, and that's we're gonna have smart cities, and then eventually they're going to be like, well, we need to rule these smart cities across the board. And they're just going to introduce like governments across the board. I feel like, you know what bothered me a lot about this New Jersey drone situation is it felt like the localized government didn't have any power. And that's that I think was a major concern for me because I mean, we always knew that the government was that huge that they could say like, oh, there's nothing going on, nothing to see here, yada, yada. But for them to like even put the mayors and the local government in the dark, that suggests to me that, we're entering dark times where they don't even matter. Mayors are just not even figureheads anymore at this point. They're just like people that are just like, they might be symbolic. That might be why a lot of people have a problem with like this new mayor in New York, because a mayor is kind of symbolic of where a city's at, I guess. And people might not like where the city would be at if he was in mayor, which I think the guy's all right. He sounds kind of like Bernie to me, so I'm with it. For anybody that's curious, I really like Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. Those are like my two favorite politicians. Or I like Tulsi Gabbard a lot before. I feel like since COVID, she's gone really just crazy. And she's also folded to Trump a lot in this administration. But I don't know. I like Tulsi Gabbard either way. I just see a lot of the flaws with her.
I'm starting to think she was just acting more reasonable to get followers that like her, who aren't even going to like pay attention to her years later when she become a fucking...
I don't know. I think
asset.
so. here's the thing, like, she did go against, like, what Trump said when she released that intelligence report about Iran. And that to me shows that she did like walk it back, but that to me says that she was probably like, hey, like if you do anything like this, if you go against what we say again, then you're fired. So I assume that she just wanted to keep her job. But it is interesting that she like went out of her way to say like that, oh no, Iran doesn't have weapons like that. Like we're going to invade them for nothing if we go into that. I mean, obviously, like I said, she walked it back. She said like the opposite the next day or two because Trump said the opposite, but I don't know. I still like her. There's something, I don't know. There's something about Tulsi Gabbard that I can't put my finger on, but I like it because like there's often things about people where like I can't put my finger on it where I don't like them, and then eventually like something happens where maybe it's like cognitive bias or something, but I was like I knew that there was a reason why I had an issue there. And with her, even when I do get like issues where I'm like why would you do that? I still, and I don't know, maybe this is just me, I still somewhat find a rationale for it in a way where like I see why she did that, and you know, even if I see like it's like manipulation to get like Trump supporters or do this or that, I still see like the angle that she took with it. I don't know. I could just be a Tulsi apologist though. So, who knows? Aloha to you, Tulsi, if you can hear this.
This could have been her chance to go independent. Maybe it still is.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I think she still has a shot. I don't think she ruined her political career with everything going on. I think she's still good. I don't know. Yeah, Bernie was the shit. I liked him. I mean, I have some issues with some decisions that he's made for the past 10 years since the first election. I think that he shouldn't have bowed so hard to the DNC when it was shown that they kind of screwed him over. I think that to me, you know, I lost a little bit of respect for him when that happened. But I understand he was trying to unite the party in a way. But like, come on, dude. Hillary Clinton sucks. That's something that Democrats and Republicans, for the most part, I think can agree on. At least not hardcore, or not hardcore lefties. Yeah, maybe not hardcore lefties, but I think pretty central or centrist lefties can agree that Hillary Clinton is like one of the worst candidates and we should not have her again for an election. Like, that's just awful. Just the very idea that she could run again is just like, what the hell?
I promise you, she's gonna run again.
No, I don't want it. Nobody wants it. And if she does that, you know what's going to happen is she's just going to give the race to the other party. That's what always happens is she gets like such an amount because she's a recognizable name like Joe Biden was. And what's going to happen is it's going to steal from a lot of the actual candidates that are decent, that are actually running. And then it's just going to give it all to Donald Trump or whoever else is running again. Trump running for a third term in 2028. It's just going to give it to him if he doesn't just take it already. It would be kind of funny if when like the election happens and that there's a winner, if Trump like is just like, nah, I don't recognize that. And he just like doesn't like secede like the position over to the next president. Like no matter who it is, even if it's a Republican. He's just like, no, he's like, I'm going to invoke some kind of act and I'm going to stay in power for another 4 years. I don't know. It's weird times we're looking at. I'm hoping we get cloned dinosaurs before we get the end of the world, though, you know? I was pretty against it at one point, but if the world's this close to ending, then, like, let's just go crazy. Let's make Bigfoot. Let's make dragons. I'd rather the world end due to some kind of, like dragon outbreak or some kind of Jurassic Park incident than, like, a New World Order or something like that. If we just have to like fight off dinosaurs, that'd be cool. I think it's nuts. Colossal Biosciences exec on seeing the resurrected direwolf and the huge possibility of conservation. An exclusive look inside the Colossal's woolly mammoth project, with plans for the first woolly mammoth birth by 2028. Imagine that. Imagine if we see. We're definitely going to see a woolly mammoth in our lifetime, right?
I hope so.
I think that's a distinct like possibility. Like of all these things that like we've talked about, like the AI chatbots and all this other stupid shit that we're definitely gonna get. That's just too easy because of AI now. That we have replication of data. That we're gonna just be able to get lazy and shit. Well, I really hope that we get like shit like this. Let's get a woolly mammoth. Let's get some other like weird shit going on. Some more dire wolves. Let's get packs of dire wolves that can run free in the woods. What's another thing happening in the world today? There's something happening in the world today. I don't know what it is. Doorbell prankster that tormented residents of German apartments turns out to be a slug. High strangeness. Demonstration of the alleged anti-gravity device Graviflyer created by Russian inventor Alexei Cherkarov. Originally tested in early 2020, this clip is a republished and colorized version showcasing the craft and operation. Looks like a flying saucer. Huh. Yeah, it looks like a mini flying saucer. Hey, check this out. Huh.
That video freaks me out.
Why?
I don't know.
This guy goes, I saw this a couple years ago and thought it seemed crazy. You see the wire hanging from it. It's like hanging down from it. It's like for the heavy current, I guess, it generates. Being conscious of nothingness, the mysterious state of sleep that science is investigating. I've always wondered about that. Researchers are investigating rare experiences of conscious sleep in which mind perceives emptiness without dreams or defined thoughts. For some people, sleep brings with it a peculiar form of wakefulness. It's not a dream, but a silent, contentless consciousness. This lesser-known state may hold clues to solving one of science's greatest mysteries, what it means to be conscious. Although a puzzle to Western science, the state of conscious sleep has been described for centuries by various Eastern contemplative traditions. The Indian philosophical school Advaita Vedanta, for example, interprets deep sleep or Sushupti as a state of pure consciousness. Similarly, the Dzogchen lineage of I just lost it. Oh, there we go. The Dzogchen lineage of Indo-Tibetan Buddhism describes meditative practices such as the yoga of luminosity or dream yoga that allow practitioner to recognize sleep states and achieve pure consciousness, a state of wakefulness within sleep without thoughts, images, or even a sense of self. For modern science, this raises a paradox. How can one be conscious without being conscious of something? Mainstream theories hold that consciousness is always directed toward an object. My awareness of the laptop in front of me, the blue sky, or my own breath. If these accounts are accurate, they are a force for us to recognize. They force us to reconsider the very nature of consciousness. Adriana Alcaraz Sanchez and her colleagues at the University of Edinburgh decided to explore what it feels like to experience a countless state during sleep. First, they interviewed 573 people about a contentless. What it feels like to experience a contentless state during sleep. First, they interviewed 573 people about the unusual forms of dream experiences, including simpler or minimalist types of consciousness. They then conducted in-depth interviews with 18 participants who reported having experienced some form of objectless sleep. In their studies, they found a spectrum of what they called objectless sleep experiences. In all cases, participants described an episode during sleep that lacked sensory content and simply involved the sensation of knowing they were conscious. That's crazy. But I've definitely felt that before. Some reports echo descriptions from Eastern philosophical traditions. An objectless, selfless experience where the sense of self seemed to dissolve or disappear. This state is similar to the drug-induced ego dissolution reported after taking DMT or in states of deep meditation. Other reports described a vague sense of being there in an undefined state or an awareness of nothingness or a void. Surprisingly, although these experiences were primarily related to contemplative practices, the results indicated that people unfamiliar with these practices also experienced them. In fact, research has not shown an association between participation in meditative practices and objectless dream experiences. However, a correlation was found with the ability to lucid dream, although many lucid dreamers did not report this type of experience. The rarity of these experiences makes them difficult to study. Therefore, researchers are developing methods to induce and better understand them. In a recent study, a team of the University of Edinburgh tested a new protocol that combined meditation, visualization, and lucid dreaming techniques. 4 participants learned to remain conscious while falling asleep and to signal their lucidity with a pre-established eye movement. Portable electroencephalograms recordings confirm that some of these objectless states can occur during slow-wave, non-REM sleep, a phase believed to be devoid of the complex conscious states we experience when we dream. Objectless sleep experiences expand our understanding of consciousness during sleep, which has traditionally focused on dreams, explains Alcaraz Sanchez. These minimal forms of consciousness may pave the way for refining our scientific theories, suggesting the existence of a form of consciousness completely devoid of content. Studying these experiences can also help us understand other altered states such as deep meditation, sensory deprivation, or even mind blanking, those episodes in which our minds seem to go empty. As the researcher concludes, the fact that people can be aware of nothingness while sleeping may tell us more about the mind than any dream.